All right, welcome back to the MartiniWorks Podcast. Alex is over on the Japan server right now. Well, we're on the U.S. server, so we got our good friend Lars. He's back. You've seen him before. You've seen him again. He's here now.
I'm back.
Welcome back, Lars.
How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good. I'm freezing.
Yeah, it's cold as hell up here today. Well, I guess that saying doesn't make sense.
No, it's cold. It's very cold.
Yeah.
It's one of those months.
Yeah, it feels like you're sitting on an ice cube. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we have some crazy news to talk about right away.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's speaking of stuff that doesn't make sense. Like cold as hell.
Yeah.
Or like airlift coilovers.
What do you mean by that?
Like that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Well, Airlift announced and branded their own coilover line.
Look at that.
That's crazy.
It's legit the craziest thing I've heard in 2025.
We're starting out the year with a freaking bang.
I got no coins on my bingo card right now. This is not what I had expected. So they look pretty neat. They're coming in at more of like an affordable level. So I think it's meant to kind of compete with, I'd say, like BC Racing, Tane, that price point.
Right around $1,000, I think, is what they're shooting for.
Yeah, so like on this set, I don't know, I didn't see which car these are for.
I believe those are for an S550 Mustang.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, so they have camber plates, which is exciting to see. Then we have our little tiny Airlift logo.
Yeah.
Maybe they should change it to Coil Lift. And then you get your locking collars.
Yeah.
They're pretty straightforward, pretty
Pretty
basic.
standard. Yeah. They look decent. They look clean.
Adjustable damping as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how those ride and how they perform.
So the big thing with these, and I know it's super weird. We're really throwing everyone for a loop. So Airlift coming out with coilovers. Why the heck would they come out with coilovers? Well, one, I mean, obviously looking at $1,000 price point, wanting to be competitive in the coilover market. But two, these things are going to be essentially modular in the sense that you get these coilovers for, say, $1,000. You want to go air in the future. I know plenty of people that have wanted to do that. They're like, yeah, I really want to go bags at some point. It's just so expensive. But in the meantime, I just want to lower my car. They go and buy, a set of BCs, or they go and buy a set of Fortune Autos or something just to lower the car in the meantime. And then, you're spending $1,200, $1,500 on a set of coilovers. And then down the road, you're spending upwards of $3,500 on a whole air suspension setup. Airlift is like, hey, we'll help you out with that first step. Here's a $1,000 set of coilovers, and we'll also make a kit to swap those over to bags in your near future when you're ready. So they have a kit that they're coming out with that will replace the coil spring in the coilover and convert it into an air strap. So help save you a little bit of cash in the long run if you tend to go that route.
Future.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Definitely not something I expected. Going into 2025, like you said, Airlift coming out with a coilover, but it's exciting to see them doing some new stuff. I was wondering what they were going to do, right? Because they come out with 3H and 3P quite a while ago now. I mean, those systems have been out for a good amount of time. Great systems. I ran 3P for 4 years in my RX-8. Absolutely loved it. It was super easy to install. We've installed a freaking handful of those kits now. And they've been great. So I was trying to see what they were going to do next, what they were going to announce next. Didn't think it was going to be a coilover, but super cool to see nonetheless.
It's an interesting concept because there are definitely people out there who want this option.
Yeah. And
nobody else does anything like it. You would usually have to rip out the entire thing and then try to sell it used and then figure out how to run everything else afterwards.
Right.
So we're curious to see I'm very curious to see how these are going to perform. Obviously there's some rough options in the cheap coilover range.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they ride.
Yeah, me too. So we have a couple sets in house that they've sent over to us. I think we're going to try to get them on some vehicles because that's one thing.
They're like, check if these suck or if they're great.
Yeah,
and we're like, all right,
for real. So we're going to go ahead and throw them on some vehicles for you guys, and we'll report back and we'll let you know how they go. I have hopes for them. I mean, if they're anything like how the shocks and the bags and stuff rode, I think that they're going to be just fine.
And
but
Airlift makes good products. It's not like
100%.
Yeah, like their bags ride really well. All the ones I've ever ridden in. I've never owned a car on bags, but
would you ever get bags?
I would.
You would? You really?
would.
'Cause
Lars has been talking about bagging
Lars
the
a
M5.
big track guy, so I didn't know if he would be on that side of the fence.
Do you still want to bag the M5?
I'm really intrigued by the idea of bagging the M5. Well, I don't know if people even know I have the M5 now, but it came up in Gatlinburg, and I think it'd be rad, but
Would
I
be
don't know if
sick.
it makes sense.
It makes sense.
It makes 100% sense. A big body bag car.
Yeah.
Big body bag Beamer.
You'd have to run some. You have quarter line and 3/8. You put probably 3/8 on the.
I don't know. Would you?
I don't know.
Quarter's fine. I did 3. I don't.
Is that what
I don't
we have
like.
on the Ferrari?
I don't like
that,
3/8.
don't
3.
put-
Yeah.
Oh no.
Isn't 3/8 for like the bigger cars though? Because they're heavy as.
Really no. Everyone that I've talked, I talked to Steven.
Yeah.
He's got the Lexus bigger car. He runs quarter inch.
Okay, man, can get away.
So,
with it.
I mean, obviously, like you can do things with 3/8 to not have it literally jump off the ground or like slam on the ground. But I don't know. I feel like quarter inch line's always been fine.
There you go. So Lars, right after this, you can order that.
Oh my
We can
God.
get bags on it right away.
We were talking about it at length in winter or so far in like right after Gatlinburg through November and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I definitely gotta do something with that thing.
Otherwise, yeah, I mean, you can get coilovers and then convert it to bags later.
Oh my god.
That's actually a great concept for a car like the M5 because I don't want to invest that much into it. I don't want to ruin the car. So maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm excited to see. They didn't send us yet the like bag conversion kit, so I'm curious to see how much it resembles their normal like 3-piece struts and stuff like that, or if it's going to be kind of
that I want to see. I want to see what that process looks like. You know,
I
like
did put them on the website earlier, and I noticed some of the like concept pictures. At least it's literally like replacing the spring with an airbag.
yeah. I mean, I would imagine
It is
similar
as straightforward as it sounds.
Yeah.
It looks like it at least. They said it'd be ready in about April. That's what the documentation says at
Also,
least.
really curious to see what that package will look like price wise.
Yeah.
Like how much are you actually saving?
Because I mean,
going that route?
essentially, all you're getting rid of is just like the strut portion, right?
The coil.
Everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, you still need compressor, you need management, you need
Yeah.
lines.
The expensive part you
Electrical.
need.
Yeah, because what do those run? The airbags themselves from Airlift are what, like $700-800 usually in
Yeah.
the front, and then you also have to get rear ones separate.
yeah.
So if you can reuse that, I guess you'd be looking at about $600 savings, $800
Just need
savings, plus all the management stuff. And
Bag.
So yeah, I'm curious. I just want to see the price difference if you like take like a 3P kit or you take the coilover kit. I'm guessing it'd be at the very least. I'd want to say around like $500 cheaper,
I would hope.
it
Right?
could be,
least.
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I guess we'll see. Yeah. Really interested to see that though. Shoot. What was it?
I think it's a cool option for people, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I wonder if they'll like make different lines.
I was just gonna say it has a lot of potential for like performance lines or static like luxury lines or like air cups instead of entire airbags.
That is a fucking awesome idea. Airlift should write that down right now. Write down Airlift. Hey, listen, that'd be super
Doing
cool.
an air cup setup?
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
just convert it to air cups.
Yeah.
That would be really
That's
cool.
the biggest reason I'm afraid of just dumping one of my cars, right? Like the M3, where I kept asking Giles not to slam it on the ground for Riverside, because I want to be able to like make sure I can drive it still.
We need to lower that car.
Dude, driving cars in Tennessee, I think everyone needs air cups.
Yeah,
Dude.
It's
just driveways.
The
I love the
entrances and-
the entrances and mountains are just horrible.
Yeah.
Some of the best driving roads, but if you have a lowered car and you need to like pull over somewhere, you're screwed.
Yeah, every year we go to Gatlinburg or Riverside or whatever, it's always like, oh man, what's the entrance to the cabin going to be like? Is it on the side of a cliff or is it washed out?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, last time we went, you could just hear me leaving.
Oh yeah, there was like the
Because I stopped caring by like day
Yeah.
3. I'm like, I just can't.
dude. Yeah, the place that we stayed, like the road all the way up there, it was like nice.
Yeah.
but like all the culverts that would run underneath, they must have like collapsed or
I
something.
don't know if it's like where water drains
Yeah.
naturally
They
and it
became,
like
like-
cuts out.
They were like inverse speed bumps, basically.
Yeah, it was just across the whole thing was just a huge dip.
I think I would have rather had speed bumps than
Oh, 100%.
Totally.
you can kind of angle it over. This was just like,
Yeah, there's no way around it. There's no good way, especially with how long the front of your car is. Definitely not good in that situation.
but if I had air cuffs,
Yeah, there it
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be for air cuffs. I can't commit. I don't really want to do air suspension on the Supra. I thought about it.
Yeah.
I almost did it when I like initially when I was getting suspension. I was like, do I want to bag this one? I was like,
But you can't really go much lower anyway.
I'm pretty good. That's what I say. I like the fitment I'm at.
It looks so good. Like the
Thanks.
coils on it too. Like the fitment and the ride height looks really solid.
But I did have it on my Focus ST, and it was phenomenal. I had no issues. It rode really nice. I beat the piss out of the car too. It wasn't like I put air on it and then I had to like daintily drive it. I drove it the exact same, and I think that's a big misconception with air suspension. Is like if you have air, oh, now it's a show car. Now you can't drive it. Now you can't beat on it. Now you can't go have fun in the twisties. And dude, no, not at all.
Well, that's one of the things that got me intrigued in doing it for the M5 because I rode in Greg's the GTR, wide body on air and everything. And I keep expecting him to feel floaty or wobbly or whatever, and that's not the case.
No, you can set it up really. However, when I remember when we took the RX-8 up to USA Air that time, and it was like, depending on how you have it set up, right, and how much pressure you have in the bags, it's essentially like changing your spring rate, like with the pressure. It's like the more pressure you have, obviously, the stiffer everything's gonna be. So I just put a little bit more air in, obviously lifted it up a little more. But if that's the case, if you want it stiffer, you can adjust the body on the actual strut itself too. So it's a balance between adjusting the actual length of the shock in the body and how much pressure you're running.
See, that's a cool idea. Right? I'd love to have a setting for just driving around every day. And like I take it to autocrossing or God forbid I take the car to Road America or something and like turn it up to performance mode with a click of a button.
Yeah, and they have adjustable damping too. So
I think that'd be sick.
It would be super sick. I had my Mark IV GTI on Airlift 3P, and I drove it all winter, and it was actually convenient. I think that's another big misconception. Oh, you can't drive in winter. Or, oh, it's a pain in the ass to drive in the winter because you got to do a bunch of maintenance. No, you don't.
Not that bad.
It's super easy, and it was nice. I had like 2 presets for driving where it's like, oh, it didn't snow that day. That's just my normal ride height. But then if it was like super snowy and like there's like clumps of ice or slush, air it up a bit higher, and I'm just cruising right down the road because I had winter tires on that thing too, and it ripped. It was, dude,
that car was a blast.
I had stretched winter tires and air. Like it was like everything everyone says not to do, and it did great. I had no issues. No issues at all. So
front wheel drive.
Air gets a bad rep, I think, mostly by people that have never had air.
Yeah,
it gets a lot of hate. But I do get it. It's expensive. It's
very expensive.
$3,000 you're spending on a kit, so it's a huge commitment. And a lot of times too, I think something that didn't help air was a lot of the cars that do it either have bad fitment or their fitment's only good when it's aired out. Yeah, so then now there's like this stigma of cars that are aired up that are stance cars and they look horrible. So that combination just gave it a bad rep. But everyone that's had it and like installed it properly, I've never heard bad things.
I think you just have to spend time on it, or you have to kind of know what you're doing, whatever you're trying to use it for. If you spend the time and dial it in, it's so good. Like you can't beat air.
Yeah.
But if you do it, if you do a poor job at it, just like with coilovers or bad fitment with wheels and tires, it's all the same stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can have a terrible time on coilovers too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if you mess up like that spring rate or like just get a shit set of coilovers, it's not a fun time.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, obviously if you're building an autocross car or track car, coilovers are the answer.
Yeah,
they always are. Thing. There's less things to go wrong, and you're fine tuning way more with coilovers, right? You're not getting that level of adjustment with air, right? In some senses, you get more level of adjustment height wise, but like fine tuning, getting that feel of like rebound and stuff like that, you're getting a lot more with the coilover. So you'll always see that picked. But like if you wanted to have fun on the weekend, go take it. You could autocross your car on air.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no reason not to.
100%. That'd be sick. So, Lars, do you think there's any mods you have planned for the M5, or are you kind of keeping her stock?
So, I mean, I definitely want to go through the whole, exhaust. I really want an exhaust for that car.
It would sound gnarly.
So, last time we were on here, we talked about...
What is in that again? I forget.
So, it is a 4.4 liter, I think, twin turbo V8.
That sounds rowdy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's definitely the fastest car I've ever owned. And it's funny, last time I was on the podcast with you guys, we were talking about how none of us really had V8s much.
So Lars went and got one right away.
Literally, I think it was like
2 weeks later.
Yeah, it was not that long after. He just showed up in Tennessee.
Like, what the?
Okay, dude left in the M2 to meet us in Gatlinburg. Showed up to the cabin in an M5.
It was really funny. So we had it planned for a while, like for a couple weeks at least. This was going to happen, but I didn't tell anybody. So yeah, we just left to go down south in the M2, stopped midway, in Chicago, swapped cars, and kept going. It was
crazy.
It tripped me out so bad because I remember Lars pulled up to the cabin. I had seen it for the first time. He's like, "Hey, Dakota." I'm like, "Hey, Lars." and nothing even processed. Nothing.
I was like, oh, Dakota doesn't give a shit. I guess. Oh, cool.
It was so funny.
Like, I'm walking the lyric. I'm like, there's a fucking M5 here. Who's M5? What the hell? And then it all connected in the
Didn't
dust.
you picked up Alex and Becca from the airport with it, right?
Yeah, I didn't even tell them. So we literally pulled in at the airport, coming through, the little pickup section, and they were like, looking for the car, waiting for the noises it made or whatever. And then I pull in, roll the window down. They're like, "What?"
That was the best way to reveal a car I think I've ever seen.
We almost had to because they had so much luggage. They just came from Japan straight into Tennessee. So I had to pick them up with their 2 weeks worth of luggage, and I had my own luggage in the car also. So that would have never worked in the M2. So
No.
I'm glad we did it this way. It worked out great.
That's so funny.
But yeah, besides the exhaust, I'm really wheels, tires. If I don't think I really want to change the suspension, to be honest, unless the air thing happens. It's so good. We took it at autocrossing before the rally last year, and the car just absolutely surprised me.
Dude, we went to BMW Performance Driving School in Carolina, and they did this thing where like, all right, we're gonna go try like all the cars, and we did like the Z4, we did the M3, we did like the X3M, which was very surprising actually. But dude, I remember Dakota and we hopped in the M5. And we were on like this autocross course, and we were just doing like hot laps with it. Dude, that thing was insane.
Tunnel vision.
I could not believe that
It pulls
car.
like a freight train.
It's nuts. And like I was expecting it to be a big boat, right? You
Yeah,
just kind
me
of turn
too,
it,
yeah.
point it at a straight, and just like plant it or something. But no, like we drove. I had both the cars up there. I had US Air to do this, and I brought the M5 just to like, haha, let's drive it like one time, let's give it a run. And I was addicted. It's such a different feeling when and like in all the sport modes and stuff, the car just wakes up, and it's like, I don't know, like these cars have so much character for how big they are, and that made me really happy. Like,
Yeah.
you point it at a corner, and like it has this like really clever four-wheel drive system, so the rear would step out a little bit, and you could feel that the car's like, that's too much. Then the front like yanks you out of it, like a front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive car. So it was so fun. It just took me by surprise by how good it is.
You ended up like putting on the best time up there, didn't you, with that?
Yeah, which is again so surprising because obviously it's very powerful, but that USA is so small.
Yeah, it's very technical, very
So
small.
We were up against Porsches and a couple Mustangs, my own quote unquote race car, and it was clear like 3 seconds of everybody else.
It's wild.
So
Those cars are rowdy.
it's nuts. Like I wanna take some people for a good rip in that in spring.
BMW does a phenomenal job of making its performance cars all feel somewhat similar. Like when we got in the X3 and drove that, like I was expecting like, SUV, like all right, let's this is the one to get into next.
This is the boring one.
No, dude, it felt just like the other car. Like we were hucking that thing. Dude,
honestly,
and
I
giggling
think
and
I had the
laughing
most fun in the X3. Like we got done with that, I'm like, I'm buying an X3. I'm like,
The
and then I saw the
M5
price. I was like, no, I'm not.
was like holy. I'd say it's very similar. Like the pull is very similar to like an R35 GTR. I get like a same feeling of like stomach and throat. Like, whoa, it keeps going. Keeps going. Like
Dude,
it doesn't let up.
We were giggling so hard with that. I think we have footage of that somewhere. We should edit that together, dude. We were dying. We were fucking having so much fun.
So the first week I had it, right, I was literally driving it through the mountains of Tennessee.
Yeah,
and I was just scared the whole time because I'm like, I don't know what this thing's gonna do to me. Like, I don't know how the brakes work yet. I don't know. Like, every corner's blind. So I was like every day like getting more and more and more confident.
Yeah.
So the car's a riot. It's just very different than the M2, but it's so fun.
100%. And what would keep that car even more planted is probably a set of Continentals. You know what I'm saying?
Probably.
Because they're the sponsor of the MartiniWorks podcast. So right now is winter. Viking Contact 7s are the flavor of choice. But as spring comes around, probably can't go wrong with a set of DWS 06 Plus. That's their all-season lineup. I have those on my Mark IV Jetta, and I've been driving those in the winter, and I have not had a problem yet. So that's one of the few all-seasons that I can confidently say actually means all-season. However, if you are getting thicker, actually like deep snow, Viking Contact 7 all the way. Otherwise, too, if you got your summer car out, or maybe you have summer year-round, the Extreme Contact Sport 02 is perfect for performance cars. That's what I have on the Supra. Absolutely love it. I've had them on the car before they even sponsored MartiniWorks Podcast because I absolutely love them. So if you guys are interested in Continental at all, you already know to get them at MartiniWorks.com. tell us that you came from the podcast and you want to get Contis, maybe we can hook you up with something, you know what I'm saying? Free t-shirt or something like that.
Absolutely.
I made that up on the spot. I don't know if we can do that.
Oh, we got to do it now.
Chris is going to get pissed. And then Alex is going to be like, what the hell? Why are we giving t-shirts away? I'll say it's for Continental. And he'll go, oh, good. I love that tire brand. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. And we got something interesting. Lars, you obviously race like we talked about in real life. But in video games, you guys are doing a bit. It's not a video game; it's a simulator.
It's a simulator. Don't
Holy
screw
cow.
that up again. The iRacing community will cancel
lifted
you.
off the couch.
I seen people literally jump, and I was like, "Oh my god, I said it wrong." Big iRacing race coming up, which I've never done. But this isn't like your average race. Not like you're even racing for an hour. You want to talk a little bit about what's coming up?
Yeah. We're doing the iRacing version of the Daytona 24, which is a 24-hour sim race on Daytona.
That's insane.
Multi-class, so you have GT3 cars, LMP2 cars, and the GTP, I think they're called hypercars on the IMSA broadcasts, all on the track at the same time. We're going to be doing all 24 hours again.
Damn.
I did it last year. It was a lot, but it's really fun. It's a good time. It's very satisfying, but it's very draining too.
So for others that haven't done it, just to clarify, you're actually racing for 24 hours?
Yeah.
And you're rotating between drivers, right?
Correct. Yeah. So we have a team of 4 drivers, and obviously there's a 24-hour block, and you kind of split into shifts. So you'll have one person driving, another person spotting, because there's so much traffic, there's so much going on all the time, and fuel and settings and all that stuff. So yeah, you're in the car typically an hour and a half, 2 hours at a time, and then you break up the 24 hours between the 4 people in some form. So last year I ended up driving, I think it was 10, 11 hours of the 24, just because I just wanted to keep driving. And the car broke, so a lot of people quit. So
Wait, the car broke?
yeah, so we had a couple little oopsies, we'll say. One of them, the final one, which made people like give up on the race with like 3 hours to go, was hilarious. We lost control going down into turn 1. If you guys don't know Daytona, on the road course section, right after the start-finish line, past pit road, you turn left into the infield. So you're on the brakes as you're turning for like a solid 300 meters, probably 300 yards for the Americans. And
Thank you.
and what happens? The rear tends to just like pick up and spin around. The car just wants to rotate. And there was something wrong with the car already from a previous incident, and he just spun it around and hit the pit exit wall, like T-boned himself. But there was a car in the way, so he smushed a prototype car between him and the wall at like 120 miles an hour. And it ended up being on Reddit. If you guys follow Reddit on iRacing's forum, he became Reddit famous from that. But
Jesus.
it was pretty fun.
It's like legit. Like, I love the realism aspect of it. Like, do you have to worry about tire wear and stuff too?
All that, yeah. The tires, temperature, not even just wear. Temperatures, pressures, wear. They wear out especially this year, the tire model's a little different, so the tires wear out more. Fuel is a big one, so you have to lift and coast if you want to get an extra lap out of your stint, which is really important for 24-hour pace. Pretty much everything you can imagine that a real world driver would have to worry about, except, drinking from a straw and, all that kind of stuff.
People that land COD need to move over. This is the real land.
Yeah, so you guys are all gonna like lock yourselves up in the house. You making snacks?
We're actually trying to do it. If the guys still want to do it, we're gonna try to do it all in my house in the living room. We'll just like move my couch out of the way.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Set up the 4 sims next to each other and just do it in there.
That sounds so sick.
But snacks?
But so
Snacks,
yeah,
definitely snacks.
Okay, thank God.
What kind of snacks go on at a 24-hour Daytona sim race?
Last year, what did I eat last year? I try not to eat anything that leaves. I have a thing with my hands. I have to make sure my hands stay clean, especially while I'm driving.
That's a big one.
So nothing that leaves things on my steering wheel or on my gloves. So I think I ate fruit last year. It was like bananas and stuff. That was easy.
Yeah, that sounds fun, I guess. What's the rule on having like a bush light or two while you're waiting for your stint?
Is that not allowed?
Hey, the marshals aren't watching what you're doing at your house. You go ham.
I was gonna say everything else is so real. I would honestly be concerned doing that.
If the breathalyzer as you turn the car on.
If one of your drivers accidentally got completely loaded right before they were about to go up and you noticed they were drunk, would you continue driving or would you just let them have it?
I would not let them drive. No. Especially in a 24-hour race. If you're like, 8, 9, 10 hours in, you're invested. Like, you don't want
I can't imagine like after that long and then someone just like puts it into a wall and it's like, all right.
Well, I know how racing goes online, all right?
Yeah, for real.
If I was 9 hours in and somebody just I don't think I would be able to handle that. I would mentally break down.
It breaks people. It
would break me
does.
100%.
So people like the chats go crazy, the direct messages, the voice chat in the game. Like the start of the race, the first like 4 hours, and then like the last 4 hours are entirely different like environment.
Yeah.
As a whole, like you're dealing with people who have not slept in 48 hours in some cases. You're dealing with people who like maybe their teammate didn't show up. People don't eat. People don't drink. People have to use the bathroom. They haven't showered. Like it's a mess, and you can just tell by their mental state.
This is a whole different world that I'm like being opened up. That's
so
crazy.
sick.
So for last year, I did one of the races I did. I've been doing this a lot last year. It's been really fun.
How many of these have you done?
I think 8.
Holy shit! Okay, so you're
8 days of racing.
That's crazy.
So the worst one by far I did though was I signed on for a stint in Spa, and we were driving a Ferrari GT3 car, and I had not practiced. I did not practice. I didn't tell my team this, but I didn't practice. Flex. So I had not driven this car yet. I barely drove Spa.
Oh God!
And then when I logged in at 2 a.m. to start my stint, it was raining.
Oh,
no. Does it go off for like real weather conditions?
iRacing is the best rain in any video game I've ever played. Like it's down to like getting the track surface wetter and drier. There's puddles, hydroplaning, like the whole nine yards. It's incredible. So I was supposed to have a spotter starting at 3 a.m. So I was going to do one stint by myself. No big deal. Middle of the night. That's raining. Nobody's really watching what's going on anyway. But my spotter never woke up. I ended up, and I was supposed to be relieved at 4 a.m. ish. And my other driver never showed up. So I was up until 6 a.m. driving by myself.
That's something you weren't prepared for.
No, at all.
Did you know the other people?
Oh yeah. They're the same people I've been doing the other races with. So like they're homies, but like
they were homies.
They were homies.
I thought maybe you just like found like a crew that needed like a driver or something like that. No. They just like left you out to dry.
It was so bad though, because you're tired, you're frustrated.
Was it Dustin?
Raining. No, it was not Dustin. But you're just tired. You're almost spin every lap. Like I'm just trying to get faster. I'm trying to remember where the damn corners are because I haven't practiced.
Especially at night in the rain.
At night, yeah.
Hell no.
The track's not lit up, and you have your tiny little high beams, and it's raining, so they don't even work. So that was the worst experience I ever had. But otherwise, driving tonight, like at Daytona, is my favorite. So I'm gonna try to catch some night stints this year.
Yeah, Daytona's a fun track.
So what class are you guys driving then?
We're doing GT3.
GT3.
Yep.
I saw Greg, our boy, was working on like a custom livery for it and everything too.
Yeah. So we finally have somebody that can do liveries, and he's working on a little something special for us,
Nice.
kind of a throwback livery with our colors and logos and
Yeah, I
stuff.
saw like MartiniWorks and stuff on there. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's so
So if
sick.
you guys are, when is this?
We're trying to pick our time slot. It starts Friday evening Central Time,
Okay.
and then there's 4 slots that start like every 6 hours. I think
Which
it is.
Friday?
This coming
This
Friday?
coming Friday.
So the day
day
this
the podcast
goes live.
The day of the podcast.
Oh my gosh. Well, you guys and gals listening and watching, make sure to root on Lars and the team. The 24-hour Daytona iRacing extravaganza.
You guys better win it now.
Yeah. I'm
whole
sending
thing.
everyone to go watch.
We can win. Anybody can win this as long as they don't crash. That's the whole thing. Just don't crash. Just don't crash. You'll be fine.
Do you think it's better to be slow and consistent or fast and just a couple mistakes?
So what I learned from the endurance races I did last year is that your your 1 lap pace means nothing. It's all about like what's your average lap? Like what is your normal lap, and how often can you get as close as possible to that lap? So even if you're like 0.8 a second a lap off somebody else, if you hit that exact time more often, you're going to outpace them.
Sure.
It's because it's so many. It's like 800 laps or something like that.
Oh my
Insane.
God.
So that's all that matters.
Damn.
Jesus.
All right, what are the would you say are the top 2 things that you can take away from sim driving that could help you in real life?
I'll give you 2 that we can take away and 1 that does not apply.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, that
Perfect.
sounds awesome.
So 2 that we can take away is really vision. So especially if you have like the right setup and everything, seeing through a corner, like it's more eyes than feet or like what you feel in your butt. It's all about what you want to like. Where you look is where you naturally tend to go.
Right.
And the second is braking. The simulator.
Careful.
Almost got me. Has a very, very good braking model. So it's really the opposite of what you're used to like in traffic. You brake hard and you let go of the braking pedal slowly. And then what does not apply is any sense of speed at all. So the biggest difference is when you hop out of a sim and into a real car, is everything's scary. You know, cars are coming at you. You're coming at corners. Like you start becoming aware of how dangerous everything is, and it does not translate at all. Like
that makes sense.
You have to go out there and do it.
I guess though, with the 24-hour race and like you have other people depending on you, at least you get some of that. Then you get some of that nervousness of not wanting to crash or wreck or spin, because I mean you got 3 other teammates and 20 hours to go.
Yeah, it's like everyone is here invested into this. You better not mess up.
And it's important to be reminded of that as you're driving, because I did. So there's a precursor to this race. It's called a Roar before the 24, and that's in GT4 cars. But it's only 10% of the length, so 2.4 hours. I did that this last weekend, and at like 2 hours, like an hour and 50 minutes or so, it's like driving on a highway. You're just like,
oh man,
like it gets bad. Like you get bored. You start thinking about other stuff. Your lap times get.
I suppose you kind of lose focus a little bit, right? It's like, oh my god, I'm done. This is like my 50th lap. It's like Jesus,
And that's when the skill comes in, right? That's when you have to stay focused. I literally woke up and I was in a Discord just chatting with some friends. I was like, I need to focus. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, I almost went off track. Like
Jesus,
it was bad.
You gotta have like the second monitor above it with Temple Runner going, so maximum attention span.
Have you ever done that with like VR? Does it have VR compatibility?
Some people do race in VR. I have not tried it. I'm a little leery about the whole VR thing. Dude. So I don't know if you guys have done it recently.
So I've never done the racing sim in VR, but I've done my flight sim in VR, and it is game changing.
Really,
it might not be like as like detailed, like it might, and it VR is what it is. But dude, the sense of just obviously immersion and everything, and for me, because obviously when I play flight sim, I just had like the one monitor, 2 if I like put them side by side, but the ability to just be like look out the window and just like visibility wise is so much better.
Yeah, I feel like
because
it's cool so much for racing too. Like people passing you can look over.
It's so much more natural just to be like, oh, I need to look that way quick instead of like moving something on the thing and then having to like recenter it. It's like, no, I can just look really quick and do that.
I am very intrigued by it, because even like the simple thing of checking your mirrors.
Yes.
Because the virtual mirrors in the game don't really, like, unless you have your settings turned really up, they don't really work. So you have one virtual mirror that's just a rear view. So I have no side mirrors some of the time. Ooh. And now I have triple monitors, so I can kind of see, but it's still only to like, I don't know, like not even 45 degrees. So I really want to try it. I have not invested in the equipment yet.
Yeah, I will. I'll loan you mine. You can give her a whirl.
Hell yeah, that'd be sick.
Because it's fun. It's at least for the flights. I mean, even some of my friends I talked to that they do like Assetto for like drifting and stuff.
Yeah.
They've just have like the Quest 2 and they're like, dude, it's game changing.
I imagine it's more important than drifting, because you're never looking out your windshield.
You need to look out. 100%. Crap, my mic going kind of wonky. Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, Lars, do you think out of the group of 4 people you have, who's the fastest?
In the 24 or in one lap?
Because it's you, Dustin, Alex, and Greg. Right?
Schnell and not Alex.
Oh, I thought Alex was in it. My bad.
He dropped out again, huh?
Yeah. I don't.
Maybe one of these years.
It's gonna be one of those.
All those guys help with MartiniWorks. Just saying.
Yeah, it's a full MartiniWorks team.
Yeah,
so that's
awesome.
pretty exciting. Who's the fastest of the bunch?
Yeah,
I think honestly in single lap pace, Schnell's faster than me now.
Dude, Schnell kind of he underdog. He cooks.
He like went full OCD on iRacing the last like 2 months since he got set up. And like it's close, don't get me wrong. But I think over the 8-hour stint or your several 2-hour stints, I still think I'll be faster. And then in the rain, I know I'm faster. So it's all a wash. It doesn't matter. He's a really, really good driver. We're happy to have him.
Who are you most concerned about?
Greg.
That one was quick.
Yeah,
that one was real quick.
We made a chart. It was like
you made a chart.
Did you make like a risk analysis? Or something?
Literally, it was who's fast and who's slow and who's who's dangerous and who's safe. And what we came up with was that Greg is slow and dangerous.
Oh my god, that's even
the worst combination.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna go slow and screw it up.
Yeah.
Again, say like I've played some races. Now, this is a different caliber of race. Would you say most people, if not all, are respectful of the rules, or do people really push the boundaries?
I think I would say for the most part, people get angry, of course, because like I said, people get in bad mental states when you're that
100%.
stressed. But otherwise, it's fairly respectful. People give each other a lot of room. It's less malicious intent and a more just people making mistakes in these things.
Sure. How would you rate iRacing chat lobbies to Call of Duty chat lobbies?
Oh, it's not even close.
Oh, okay.
It's
iRacing's
totally
way worse.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay,
When you call it a game,
18 hours into the 24-hour race, how would you rate it?
So last year we got a lot of direct messages, but
God.
nothing in the actual public group chat. They get a little spicy, especially if you argue with them. But what you can do is you can egg them on, and then because they're in a Discord or something talking to each other. So if the spotter is messaging you, then your spotter can message back, but to the team instead of him directly, and then the driver will see it and get all angry about it, and then he'll drive worse. And it's really fun to message.
What a mental game.
I love it.
It's
Spotter, aka shit talker.
Exactly.
Man, I want to watch this.
We're gonna try to stream it. So,
I hope you do.
We tried last year, but I had just set up my computer, and it didn't really want to run iRacing, let alone stream it. So we're gonna try to do it this year.
Yeah.
Dude, in my experience, there's always something with a live stream. Something always goes wrong.
It never works.
Yeah, I hope it works for you guys, but man, to do all that and be trying to monitor a live stream.
Oh, I will not be reading chat. Well, I guess in Daytona that you have the long straights, and in the GT4 in a GT3 car, you're on there for a long time.
I need you focused.
Yeah, you got focus. You guys got to win.
Wait,
there's a lot on the
I'd
line.
be so excited if we won. You have no idea.
That'd
Every
be sick.
endurance race I've done, we've had pace to be top 3, and something stupid always
Oh man!
happens.
All right, not this year.
Not this year.
This year I'm
This
feeling.
our year.
I got third place in the roar. So
Wow.
we'll see.
God
We'll see.
damn.
Yeah.
That's podium, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
See what
So
happens.
how long are the stints
So
for a driver?
a load of fuel is usually 45, 50 minutes, and typically you'll do a double stint. So you'll get in the car, run out of fuel, fill it back up, run out of fuel again, then switch drivers.
Gotcha. So about 2 hours.
Yeah, give or take. And then usually you'll spot for the guy that just replaced you. So
Dude, I'm just thinking Gran Turismo missions, and
Yeah, I know. That's all I keep.
there's
thinking.
one maybe 20 minute, and I'm like, oh my god, this needs to end.
Yeah.
I can't imagine 2 hours straight of
It's
Daytona.
it's definitely a lot of patience, and you have to have the right
Yeah.
attention span for it. But yeah, that's what it's all about. These people, Daytona week goes crazy in iRacing. These people come out of nowhere, with a relatively low rating, myself included. But all they do all year is practice Daytona. So they're punching so far above their weight class. And my rating's very low. Don't look me up on the service. But at Daytona, we can cook.
Dang, dude, you're gonna know Daytona like the back of your hand. You'll be able to do that in reverse with your eyes closed after you're done with this race.
Yeah, I mean, it gets to a point, like I said, you're just droning on, in the GT4 race. I was just all habit.
Well, the good news is I got yourself a mod pack, so you can put in Fortune Auto coilovers,
Ooh.
and you're gonna be lapping people left and right because Fortune Autos have a digressive piston, which makes them feel phenomenal while driving. They're hand assembled in the United States, which is Daytona's in the United States, so I figured it would just go hand in hand. But you can also get them at MartiniWorks.com, which is on the livery, one of the sponsors of that race for the guys there. And but yeah, Fortune Autos, they're fantastic. I use them IRL all the time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, sorry, I'm going in on.
Yeah, I love it.
Fortune Auto 500 series though, perfect for daily driver or tracking. I've done both on the Supra, and I didn't even adjust my damping, but I could if I wanted to. It went phenomenal. If you're getting more serious about it, definitely say 510s. Either way, if you have 510s or 500s, both are rebuildable. You can send them in, they'll get them all freshened up for you, and boom, bop them back right on the car. Fortune Auto over the years has done a phenomenal job of covering a lot of platforms, so there's a good chance if you don't own some weird 70s Lincoln that you can get Fortune Auto for your car. So make sure to check that out over at MartiniWorks.com.
VSKF owners are pissed right now.
Oh no.
So
Why?
Alex is in Japan right now they went over there for Tokyo Auto Salon. One of the biggest news articles to come out of Tokyo Auto Salon in 2025 is that Work reintroduced the VSKF. And it's got all of the OG VSKF owners in a bit of a tizzy because they can't sell their wheels for $5,000 anymore.
Is that what they were going for?
They spiked.
Yeah, they did spike for a while because I remember we were looking at VSKFs for a build a while ago, and we got them for a decent price. Still expensive. Still needed to be rebuilt, refinished, and even then, it's like, oof, you can tell these are pretty old, but really cool wheel nonetheless. Very iconic, very classic. And yeah, they started to go up in price a little bit, and then Works like, here it is. So yeah, new VSKFs coming for 2025. We've been getting a lot of questions about it. Obviously, there's a lot of hype about it on the internet as such. But yeah, they sound like the 18 inches are starting in March. They are available for order now. Production starting around March. Some of the larger sizes, I believe the 19s and 20s, are going to be about a few weeks after that for production to start. But looking about, I think 4 months right now, or I can't remember exactly. It was like a couple months for production
right,
after March. So kind of falling in line with everything else that Work is doing production-wise. But yeah, you can place an order now. So we've been trying to get some new VSKFs. They are a little bit different. People did notice that the actual face of the wheel is slightly different than the originals.
Like they modernized.
Yeah, so they brought it. So like kind of like when they would refresh like the CR Kiwami, like from the CR Kai and all that kind of stuff. Like just refreshing it a little bit, adding that like next generation to it.
VSKFs are
You know, like
I was just gonna say that. Like, I think they look dated because there's nothing new-ish that they look good on.
They look like American muscle.
Well, they are. They're based on they look like the torque thrust.
Which I don't think that looks great. So it's like I think on the right builds they can look really good.
100%.
But like I would never put VSKFs on the Subaru.
I think it's interesting timing with like all the cars that became legal this year to import. So maybe they'll find a home with the import scene. Like maybe we'll see them on.
Yeah,
a couple
that could be because we're looking at 2000 being a legal import here in the United States now. But seeing some of the cars that they were on, I don't know if you guys they were on like R35s, like in like 20 units. Dude, it was crazy.
I like how the way Work promoted it. They showed it on like a R35 GTR, and it was kind of like a modest. But anyone that's getting VSKFs is putting negative 13 degrees of camber in a 195, and that's the only way those are being ran. Nobody's running a meaty setup with their VSKFs. Like, bruh, come on, you might as well show a dump car on its nuts if you're gonna show it.
They're gonna end up on a WRX on indoor showcase. Somewhere.
BRZ, FRS.
Yeah.
So, GR86.
2025, we got new Work VSKFs.
That was
some people
big
love
news,
it. Some people hate it. Other big news coming out of the same event, Tokyo Auto Salon, new Miata alert. Sort of, kind of.
I heard this was like a special edition.
Yeah, so they announced it. This is the most powerful factory Mazda Miata ever produced. You want to guess how much horsepower it has?
It went from 195 to 205.
It's got to be like 230 something.
Not even.
Oh my God. Why do they even use that as a tagline?
So the MX-5 12R featuring a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine rated at 197 horsepower.
Oh my. I mean, I've never driven a bad Miata, but what's the point?
Yeah, they're good cars and everything.
Get this, to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of this generation.
That's a crazy statistic,
isn't it?
Actually,
isn't it?
That the ND has been around for 10 years already.
That's nuts.
Mazda just beating that horse. They milking that cow.
But who are they competing with?
Mazda?
Yeah,
I mean,
like what else is like a Miata except that weird little Fiat
GR86.
thing?
Honestly, the GR86 is very
Probably the
comparable.
closest.
Personally, I'd rather have a GR86.
Oh, 100%.
Are they priced similarly? Like new for new?
I think so.
Yeah, they got to be pretty close. And even
Are the new Miatas turbo?
no,
They're not?
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Giles would know. So.
No, I'm not guessing.
Yeah, I almost got one. No, I'm just kidding. I don't fit in them.
And he can't have turbo cars. So.
I literally cannot fit. I remember we were at Riverside this last year, and our friend Jake has one, and they had to run back to the cabin, but we needed to like move it because he was a booth car, and we had to like kind of shift the booth over. And he's like, "Yeah, here's the key if you need to move it." And I was like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna." And of course, I had to move it, dude. I had the seat all the way back in that thing. I could, and even then, I'm like. like
they're not like an S2K.
No,
they're like smaller than an S2K.
And they have no
car.
headroom either. Like I can only fit in them with the roof down.
Dude, it was nuts.
Fun little factoid for you.
Yeah. I got another one here.
What you
This
got?
is actually kind of a big one. I don't know if you guys have seen this one at all yet, but RTR, some exciting news coming out of RTR. So Vaughn Gittin Jr. in the team. They officially are announcing the first Ford factory-built Mustang RTR.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's a big deal.
So they have finally,
Ford about to sue themselves.
yeah. Wait a minute. No, so they are working together in collaboration on a new enthusiast-focused EcoBoost performance Mustang.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. So is this supposed to be like a Shelby type thing, but for like style edition, but with the EcoBoost?
Yeah. So RTR, for those that don't know, obviously they've been around for a while now, very heavily involved in like the Formula Drift side of things with their team, and they absolutely dominate in that scene, bringing a lot of attention to the newer Ford Mustang generations and things like that. They've been doing an incredible job. They offer packages. You go buy a new Mustang, and so you bring it to RTR, or you can just buy the stuff and you can select package 1, 2, 3, whatever it is, and then you can get what you get, and they have a dedicated package for that's really cool. So for them to actually have a true collaboration with a factory-built Mustang, I think it's super neat, and it's I like that it's going to be the EcoBoost one. I think they say they want to kind of put a fresh look on turbocharged muscle cars, and I think if there was any brand to do that, RTR is definitely 100% the brand to do it.
I think that's really cool. That's how a lot of the special editions that we think of now, that's how they all started, right? Like Shelby, Roush, Nismo, right? Was the same deal, wasn't it, for Nissan? Like Alpina, BMWs, I'm trying to think of some others, but like I think they all started like that. And,
BMWs go hard.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, super exciting. Really excited for those guys. Obviously, like I said, Vaughn and the team have been doing an incredible job. It's been super cool to see what they've been able to do both in and outside of like Formula Drift stuff. And yeah, it's exciting.
Any word on pricing for that?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not that I've seen.
I'd be curious about that because theoretically a special edition EcoBoost should still come in like around the price of a GT, if not under that.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
I would think it'd be a little more digestible, yeah. Especially if they're trying to go after like, younger enthusiasts and stuff who maybe are looking, finally got that like job they were looking for. They're looking to splurge a little bit. They, been a car enthusiast. They want something a little different. Hopefully coming.
What a shocker that Mazda is making another Miata and Ford's making another Mustang.
It's crazy. We're getting the craziest news.
2025
Only on the MartiniWorks podcast.
And the VSKF is back.
And work makes wheels now.
And work is making another wheel that they've already made. Dude, everybody, I feel like, I don't know. I'm getting to be a boomer, but like we must have been raised in the right generation. You know what I'm saying?
They keep remaking our
everything's
stuff.
just remakes.
Yeah.
When's Finding Nemo 2?
That already happened.
Yeah, that happened.
Did it really?
Yeah, that was Finding Nemo 2.
No, there
It
wasn't.
was Finding Dory.
It was Finding Dory.
Holy shit, you're right. Next year you tell me there's a Shrek 2.
No,
Dude,
they wouldn't.
Wait till I got some crazy news for you, my guy. Shrek 5.
Spy Kids 4D.
Oh my God. How about this? Pricing of the 2025 Corvette ZR1 starts at $175,000.
I'll take 5.
That car is nuts.
It is nuts. It is an insane
That's
car.
the one that revs out like crazy and shit, right?
It's like 1,000 horsepower from factory with a
it's
warranty.
absolutely
With an NA
Yeah.
V8.
Is it? Is it a
No, the ZR1.
Which one am I thinking of?
Z06.
Oh,
Z06.
maybe I'm thinking
The
that.
flat plane crank one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, the ZR1 is a
Everything
whole
has so many additions.
different animal, dude. This thing is
Sorry.
nuts. But this is one that people were waiting a long time for, and they finally announced it, and now it's here. Well, sort of here, and it's $175,000. They're calling it the American hypercar.
Well, like you compare it to, I've seen a couple of these charts of like people comparing it to the new Lamborghini, the one that replaced the Aventador, I forget the name, Revelto or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and the equivalent Ferrari and stuff, and the Italian cars are like twice as much. They're like 280, 300,000 all day before options.
Yeah, so
and they make less power.
So for $175,000, you get a Corvette, packs a twin turbo 5.5 liter V8, pushing out 1,064 horsepower.
That's
That's
crazy
fucking
number.
insane.
That is insane.
When the Demon came out, they were like 900.
It was like
something
900.
horsepower?
Dude, when the Hellcat came out, it was like 700 horsepower. Dude,
Yeah.
the world was like, holy shit.
How is this allowed?
I know. They're doing wheelies like at
What's
the
the
announcement
limit?
thing.
What's the limit?
I don't know.
Well,
dude.
it's like manufacturers just all mutually agree to stop trying, and then recently Dodge and Chevy was like, nah, let's see how far we can push this thing.
Someone will buy it.
Dude, 1,060.
Shove it into an SUV.
65-year-olds buying 1,000 horsepower car from factory is fucking
That's
insane.
Whatever
nuts.
happened to the Hellefant? I thought they were making a Hellcat minivan, and that was like confirmed.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It
God.
was confirmed at one point.
I remember.
That's what I
I do remember
thought.
hearing stuff about that.
I know
Must have been fake.
something like that
Damn
became a
it.
crate motor. Maybe that's where the name went.
That's
I don't know.
boring. I want a factory minivan with that 1,000 horsepower.
I don't have much info on the other thing here, but sounds like they did unveil officially new Prelude.
Was there something about STI too?
Yeah,
Only in Japan.
So I've heard a couple things about that. I got to do some more research on it, so sorry I didn't come fully prepared. I remember reading an article. It was like right before Tokyo Auto Salon, or like right when it started, that Subaru was bringing back like the ST. It was like that S107, whatever.
TI.
Yeah, no, it was like some different number
that
thing.
weird
that they
one
had.
from a few years back, like the older one.
Yeah, but it's like the new generation.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to have like the crazy like Recaro seats in it, like the carbon backed ones. But then it was going to be the least powerful STI that they've ever made, and it also had a CVT transmission.
Ew.
That was like the whole breaking news. But then now I heard that they've gone back on that possibly, and there's actually an actual. I don't know.
But there's a Prelude confirmed.
Yeah, I saw a video. Unless it was AI.
God. Joe's got Mazda RX-9.
No,
So
I
what
didn't.
happened with that? Any RX-9?
No, there's nothing is ever going to happen with the Mazda RX. It's never coming out.
I don't
I keep
know,
hoping.
man.
I keep praying. They keep teasing it. They come out with a different fucking
Any
prototype
minute.
any minute, year,
When they're
decade now.
When they're done making new Miatas, they'll make the RX-9.
They've been making the same one for 10 years, so I'm holding on. I don't know.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening to the MartiniWorks podcast. Big shout out to Lars for
Thanks, Lars.
hopping on.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fun.
always a pleasure when you're there. Good luck at your race
Yes, best of luck.
It's
on
gonna be a long
today.
one today.
today.
Future us.
Today. But if you guys are looking for car parts, you already know, head on over to MartiniWorks.com. That's what keeps this thing alive and going and moving. So all of you that have ordered, we appreciate you so much. And when you hang out with us and listen to us on Fridays, that means the world as well. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.